APC presidential aspirant Bola Ahmed Tinubu is set to dump his political career just to buy Chelsea Football Club. That is why he decided to live now in London, while his colleagues are busy in Nigeria campaigning for the next year election. Proof saw him negotiating with Chelsea's manager, ready to buy Chelsea Football Club. He was spotted in Stamford Bridge talking with some management. Who knows if he have changed the plan to become the president of Nigeria as Joe Biden chase him out of Nigeria. When they asked the APC spokesman, this is what he has to say.
Covered in the past 40 minutes or so on the program. And today I'm joined here in the studio by the Arise News analyst and former chairman of the editorial board of Daily Trust newspaper, Mahmood Jega, and by the political affairs commentator, Arise News analyst and lecturer at Bayes University in Abuja, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi. Thank you, as always, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And let me come to you, Prof. Why is, you heard us talking with Ayo Oyalowo, who's a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, about the absence of their presidential candidate at today's seminal event. What's your assessment of his response and his reasons?
Yeah, I think he made light of what appears to be the serious question of absence. You know, he was quite confident. Some of his responses were very logical. You know, especially saying that APC presidential flag bearer, you know, has once more made a tour to London to rest, because he can hardly rest in Abuja, he can hardly rest in Lagos, and London is about the best place for him to rest. You know, well, it looks quite reasonable, but of course I'm worried about costs. I'm also worried about the further stress that will result from having to jet out to London. You know, and I'm also worried about the continuous suspicion about the real motive behind those frequent foreign trips. You know. And of course, why London all the time? You know, I mean, this is a time where we should expect some decolonization of our minds, you know, away from London being a kind of preferred tourist destination by the average Nigerian leader. And if we're expecting some new set of leaders, we need them to give us some level of value reorientation. And of course, if one of those orientations should be for us to de-emphasize, you know, preferences for foreign opportunities, foreign services. You know, I mean, why not go to Obudu Cattle Ranch, for instance?
It's so funny. I was just thinking of Obudu.
That's right.
That's exactly
why not
what
look for
came to
another
my
tourist
mind.
destination? And of course, he's not a small person, a former governor of Lagos State, a very prominent person. If he wants to lock himself up in a mansion in Abuja or in a hotel room in Abuja and ask the security agencies to prevent people from coming to him, I'm sure he can do that. You know, some of these things are actually symbolic. You know, we need to up our game in doing things that are good to the optics, things that will heal our sensitivities against the background of the deprivation and the deprivation that we've been complaining about over the years with regards to our values, our moralities, and all of that. You know, yes, he has his choice, and he's an individual. He's an individual. He can make his decision. He has the means. But again, we are looking at the bigger picture, you know, as
especially
a potential.
if you're asking us for your vote.
Yes, I mean, as a potential
for our
leader.
votes,
You know, so that's my initial take. Otherwise, you know, Oyawe did a lot of work, you know, in terms of dissolving the seriousness of the event, of you know, the question of absence. You know, it was quite forthcoming, and he did his best as an official of the party.
Well, Mahmood Jega, you listened to him as well. You know, he certainly made the effort, and as I said to him, we will see how much what he's told us will come to pass. But what are your thoughts on that?
That is the most important thing. You know, when he said there's going to be 5 months of grueling campaign from now until February election, and Asiwaju had to take a rest. It reminds me of what we used to read in primary school, that a man is on holiday before the exam, and it was, you lived in Britain. Here in Nigeria, you don't rest before exam. You can only rest after the exam. But I understand that it has been very hectic and is going to get a lot more hectic. But so he probably needs that rest. Of course, the rest may include medical check or whatever it is. But in the end, it is what happens when the candidates return and fully launch the campaign and begin all the grueling tour around the country and endless rallies and press conferences and all that. Just what you said to round up, that okay, the assurances, the things you said sound quite reasonable, but let us see if they are borne out in the end.
But do you think it's a good strategy, though, to kind of ease yourself into the campaigns rather than charge into the campaign?
I agree that it didn't make very good optics, especially because the party primaries finished in May, and this is September. In fact, personally, when I saw the INEC timetable, I said, why, if you know that the campaign will not start until September, why did we do the primaries in May? We could have done them in July. So all arrangements, all the resting, every other thing should have been done within this period. And everybody was looking forward to Wednesday and saying this is the official start of the campaign. And we thought by now the whole place would be...
talking about being entertained, sitting back, kicking back, all these sort of carnivals and so
it is okay if the candidate takes a rest, but it shouldn't be a very long rest. They should really come and make the best out of these 5 months, because on the other hand, the country is large, 36 states. That is, even if you campaign only in state capitals, that will still take most of the 5 months. And I remember back in the Second Republic, the candidates were campaigning not just in state capitals, but in every major town. They were going by road that time. So you come to state capitals, and you go to the next 2 or 3 major towns in the state and everything. Very grueling that time. Now maybe because there are more states. That time there were 19, now there are 36. So possibly that explains, but still, really they should make the best of this 5 months.
Right, okay. Professor, let's turn to that issue of the Peace Committee, which took place today. How much of this agreement do you think strikes a chord across the different levels of the political parties? Because there are parts of this country where campaigning tends to be violent. I mean, it's been that way for a long time because of local rivalries and divisions that tend to manifest themselves during the election season.
Yeah, but first I think we need to commend the Peace Committee for being very consistent, former head of state. And of course, this ex-retired general has been very consistent in this area. Do not forget that he was the one that eventually delivered democracy after